Let us now take a look at a DC circuit example where we are going to go through the entire Thevenin theorem application. We will convert this into a Thevenin equivalent circuit. We will figure out R Thevenin, we will figure out V Thevenin, and then we will figure out the value of this resistor, which is simply R Thevenin, and the amount of power that will be delivered to it. Now, this is a DC circuit. How can I tell? Very simple. I have a DC source. I don't have a sinusoid over here. Okay. And this is the circuit arrangement. Now, step number one is to figure out R Thevenin. In order to figure out R Thevenin, what I need to do is I need to short circuit the voltage sources and I need to open circuit the current sources. Now, the interesting thing over here, the age-old question about should I leave the resistor in? Should I take the resistor out? Well, the way the terminals are noted over here, we need to actually create an equivalent circuit with respect to these terminals. So everything that is between these two terminals needs to be converted into a simple voltage source and into a series resistor. Okay, and then we are going to bring back the load resistor, the output resistor into play. Okay, so step number one, I short circuit the voltage source, replace it with a short wire. And then I look into these terminals. Okay, I'm looking into these terminals and I need to simplify the remaining series parallel arrangement of my resistors. So it is pretty obvious that the R1 is in parallel with R2 and R3 is basically in series with the parallel arrangement of these two resistors. Clear? And when we do the math, we end up with R Thevenin is equal to 10 ohms. Now, if the question is simply asking you about the value of load resistor that will result in maximum power transfer to the load resistor, you can very well stop over here. No need to go any further. Okay? But if the question is asking you to figure out the power that will be delivered to the load resistor under the maximum power transfer scenario, or if the question is asking you to figure out the V Thevenin explicitly or implicitly, then you need to go one step further. And that involves calculation of our V Thevenin, because that will allow you to create your equivalent circuit. So when we look at the V Thevenin, again, this can be a little bit tricky. The easiest way is to always stay focused on the terminals. So these are the terminals, right? Now, if you are trying to figure out the voltage between A and B, right? Then, and we can actually throw a ground over here. So we set VB is equal to 0 volt by setting it as a virtual ground. Makes our life easy, and you can do it for any type of circuit analysis. Find a common node and call it a virtual ground, not a problem. So VB has been figured out. We are after VAB, which is VA minus VB, so which is simply VA minus 0, so which is simply VA. Now the question is, what is VA? Okay, so this is my VA. Is there any current going to, will there any current flow? Will there be any current flow to the 8 ohm resistor? No, because you have infinite impedance in here, right? The reason is that we have so much impedance, so like open circuit, there is no written path, so there's no current flow. If there is no current flow, then there's not going to be any voltage drop. If there's no voltage drop across the 8 ohm resistor, then basically the voltage that is over here is the same voltage that is over here. So the VA is basically going to transfer over here. Okay. Now when we look at our VA minus VB, we are basically just interested in the voltage across this R2, right? So this is simply a voltage drop of R2, okay? And the voltage drop equation is pretty simple. We have 12 volts multiplied by 3 divided by 3 plus 6. So our VThevenin becomes 4 volt. And at this stage, we have everything that we need in order to figure out the power that will be delivered to the load resistor under maximum power transfer theorem, or the power that will be basically consumed. Okay, and that requires Thevenin analysis. So what ends up happening is that my Thevenin equivalent circuit looks something like this if I were to sketch it out. Okay, this is 10 ohms. This is 4 volts. And now the resistor that I'm going to connect in between my RL, let's call it max, we know that this has to be 10 ohms, and the power that will be delivered to it can simply be calculated using this equation. It's as simple as that. Okay. So in summary, by making sure that our load resistor is exactly the same size as the Thevenin resistor for the given circuit, we will ensure the maximum power transfer to this load resistor, and that maximum power transfer can be calculated if we also know the value of our Thevenin equivalent voltage. Okay, so this is how the Thevenin theorem helps us figure out the maximum power that can be transferred to a load. I hope you guys found this session helpful and we use a first principle approach. What sometimes gets missed in between the lines is what is really the maximum power transfer theorem doing? In simple terms, it is basically allowing us to figure out the selection. If we have, let's say, a bunch of resistors on a table and we want to pick one of the resistors or one of the impedances to select it as our load impedance, then which one should we select? And if the condition is maximum efficiency or maximum power transfer to the end load, then we are basically going to select the one that is equal to R Thevenin or that is equal to the Z Thevenin, and we handle the conjugate carefully. And I hope that you found this this is what I call as level 3 understanding, first principle approach. And when you tackle every single topic for FE electrical and computer exam, the P power exam, it becomes a lot more helpful, especially for the P power exam. I'll tell you up front that if the small building blocks are shaky as you're working through, and that really starts with FE electrical, if they are not based on strong foundation, then it sort of amplifies when you get to the P power exam preparation. And at that stage, you really don't have too much time because of the new content that you have to cover to really go back. So it really drags out your preparation and makes it a lot more frustrating. If you found this helpful and are interested in an effective and efficient exam preparation resource, feel free to visit my website, StudyForFE.com. It will save you time, hopefully stress and frustration, and will give you the confidence going into the actual exam. And at the end of the day, learning can be done all by our own selves. But learning alone can sometimes look something like this, right? But if you're using an effective exam prep resource with a mentor, with guidance, with structure, then it can be a little bit easier, right? So feel free to check out my website, www.studyforfe.com. Whether you're preparing for FE electrical and computer or P power, you'll find the on-demand format. You'll find the on-demand plus live training format. In the on-demand plus live training format, essentially, I expect students to go through the lectures and quizzes using the on-demand course content. On a weekly basis, I release new homework assignments, and then the solutions for those homework assignments are provided, and then I get together on a live call, and then we do a holistic overview. There's also support structure in the form of a community access, which is moderated by myself and my 2 teaching assistants. And you can ask any questions, and within a matter of hours, you can get a very quick response. Yeah, thanks a lot for your time, and feel free to reach out in case of any questions. Thank you. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. On a weekly basis, I'm creating content for FE electrical and P power exam preparation. I also discuss topics related to electrical engineering with a focus on power systems engineering. If you'd like to learn more about my FE electrical and P power exam preparation programs, please visit my website, StudyForFE.com.